going, guys? It's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and today I'm going to show you how to buy a BMW E46 off Craigslist or eBay. So we're going to put you in a scenario. You found a car on Craigslist. It's $500 to $2,000, depends on what make model it is. And you go to the guy's house, look at the car, you're walking up to it. This is what we're going to look at. First of all, you look at the tires. You're going to see how much tread are on the tires. You're going to see if the tires are worn. More importantly, you're going to see if the insides are bald, like this one is a little bit. You're going to walk up to it. You're going to take your foot. You're going to push without squishing the fender. You're going to push it back towards it. You see this tire doesn't move. It isn't closing the gap from the fender well of the tire. Let's go to the other side and check it. I like to do this while the people are talking to me. I'll hold you real still here. See how that one's going back? You can hear it? Okay, so this car needs control arms. Next thing you're gonna do is walk in here. This car is running. You can do it with it running or with it off. You're gonna open up the door. You're gonna go like this with the steering wheel. You can do it better with it off. This battery is charging on this thing. You're gonna stand outside and you're gonna listen, see if you can hear anything clacking. While you're checking there, you're checking the rack and pinion, you're checking the inner and outer tie rod just by doing that. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna look at is the sunroof. You gotta make sure that the sunroof's all the way up, that it's flush all the way around. There's no problems with that. You could also test the sunroof. You go in here and you're on the switch, you run it to tilt. Let's see if I can do it while I'm holding it. This one acts funny, something to be aware of. I'm holding the switch and it's jerking around. You gotta make sure that functions properly. You're gonna look at the windows on the inside. You're gonna look and see if there's any condensation on the inside of the windows. That's gonna tell you the sunroof's leaking. The next thing you're gonna do is go down here. You're gonna fill the carpet. You're gonna fill it in the rear floorboards and the fronts. You're gonna see, is that carpet wet? Okay. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna sit inside the car and you're going to run all the windows up and down. Now, in proper E46 fashion, you're gonna have at least one window that's not gonna work, if not two. That's not a big deal. They're 20 bucks off eBay. They're super easy to change. Be prepared for at least one. Next thing you're gonna do is look at the dash. Let me spin this guy here around. You're gonna look at the dash lights. 99% chance you're gonna have the traction light on, the ABS light on, the brake light on. That's almost a given on a E46. I'm sorry, E46. So what that means, you probably have the bad wheel sensor, could be ABS controller. If you have a BMW scanner, eBay scanner, whatever, probably be nice to bring it with you and scan and look and see what the codes are. And it's almost just as much guaranteed you're going to have the check engine light on. That's the windshield washer tank light. This one is low on fluid. Also, it's almost guaranteed you're going to have tail light indicators on or headlight indicators. That's not that big of a deal. A little bit of knowledge and a couple bucks you could easily fix that. What we're going to look for is on the mileage, as you can see right here. Let's see if it'll focus a little bit better. Okay. If there's a little dot behind the last digit, that means the cluster's been switched out. That's something else to look for. That's not too uncommon on these. It's more common on E39s, E38s. They have a lot more problem with the cluster LEDs. So the next thing you're gonna look at is the seats. Now this car is manual seats, so it's not gonna have a problem with it. If it's electric seats, you're gonna wanna run the backs up and down. You're going to want to make sure they're not lifting crooked or having any problems with that. E46s are not too bad about that. E39s are tremendously worse. You want to try the outer door handles. It's not uncommon to have one of these broken. This one isn't broken. It's missing a little cover off of it. That's okay. That'll cost you a little bit of money, a little bit of grief to get that working again if the handle is broke, if it's physically missing, or just not working correctly. So one thing I noticed most of the time, the emblems, especially the hood emblem, the color is going to be missing off of it. That's a pretty cheap fix. Almost all E46s have that problem, and this has been replaced. The trim is going to be like a faded gray color. Depends on what model it is. That could be painted the same color as the car. Most of the lower models are not. This is a 323, it is not. A little bit of back to black or anything will take that right out. You can't even pop those off and spray them with trim paint. We're going to look in the door pockets. You know, you're going to want to see if there's water standing in the door pocket. That's a really common problem. That can indicate a door panel problem. There is sheets of foam that's glued to the door itself behind the panel. If those are not glued back correctly, it could leak in there. Also, you're going to want to inspect the door seals up here. Any kind of situation with that's also going to do that, and also is going to put water in. Problems with the sunroof drains, and you can see up here, there's really no way to check this. This one is off. It's laying right here in the seat. That needs to be put back on. This one had that problem. That's going to contribute to your water in your floor. That could possibly run down the back of the glove box, short out. There's several different computers back there. Cause anything from transmission problems to, man, door lock problems, cruise control, stereo, you just name it. It can cause all that. You're going to want to feel the A-pillar and make sure nothing looks wet, nothing feels wet, no traces of water damage on the headliner. Another problem is too, these things headliners love to fall down. E46s are bad about that. This one's kind of escaped that a little bit. You'll see big pockets and sagging in the headliner. That's pretty common, not too hard to fix. Start it up. You hear these N54s are a little bit loud. Anything a definite knocking sound, there's a problem. This sounds a little louder. It's not too big of a deal at all. You're going to make sure the seals are all good up here. That's going to cause you grief if that air filter box is not installed correctly. If the seals are bad, it's going to leak water down on your engine. It's going to fill up your spark plug. Come in here and look at the motor. You see the white residue around here. That indicates there was a leak once upon a time. You're going to want to look back down in here, the thermostat housing, make sure nothing's leaking down there. Look for stuff running down the side of the bottle, like that. That indicates a leak at one point in time or another. Potentially could lead to bigger issues. When you first start the car, see if there's any noticeable white smoke coming out or blue smoke. That could indicate a head problem, could indicate a CCV valve problem. Now you have to understand something. These cars steam a lot. You see the steam coming out in the video. You can see it right here. That's perfectly normal. These cars just kind of do that. It's something to be aware of. Also, when you're driving it, look behind you, and if you see any kind of smoke at all in the rear view, it definitely means some bigger issues. You're also going to want to check out when you're driving the car on the highway. You want to feel for any vibrations in the drivetrain. That could be a possible carrier bearing on the drive shaft, a bad guibo. Also, these cars that are a manual, and this one is, I'm going to show you how to test the rear subframe mounts without even driving. Okay, so what you're going to do, going to push the clutch in, I'm going to put it in first gear, and turn any kind of heat or anything off. Let me turn this one off so you can hear. And you're going to want to pull the brake on. You're going to want to disengage it just so it jerks. And this one has a little bit of a clunk to it. You're going to listen for any kind of really loud clunk. Now obviously if you have a bad carrier bearing or guibo, it's also going to clunk, especially the carrier bearing. If you don't have a jack or don't have access to jack it up, you could also verify that there's no play in the carrier bearing, and that could mean the subframe mounts are ripped out. This is pretty much only on a manual car and not on automatic. Okay, so you're also going to notice that the center BMW stickers are missing. Also, when you're driving it, the car's been sitting for a while, so you can see the rust on the rotor. Maybe. There you go. That can make a growling sound when you hit the brakes. If it's been sitting for a long while and it's super rusty, sometimes that's hard to get off. That may require pulling the wheel off and cleaning it with a Brillo or whatever you have, possibly new rotors. So that's pretty much all. And obviously you're going to want to check the oil, make sure there's no coolant in the oil, make sure it doesn't look milky, make sure it's full. Before you start the car, you need to check the coolant, make sure the coolant's not really low. If you open the lid and there's no coolant in it, which seems to be pretty common, there's a good chance it could have some. Can't do on this one because we're on the grass, we're not on concrete. But you're going to look under the car, see if it's leaking. The E46 it's almost guaranteed it's going to leak something. Depends on what it is and how much it is. It's not going to be that big of a deal to worry about. If you have some mild mechanic knowledge and able to work on stuff yourself a little bit, you could easily tend to that. That's pretty much all. One other thing to be a little bit cautious of is the handle for the trunk. This one actually works. It's like the E36. This guy here, which needs to be put back in, those wires can get kind of tattered and ripped up and the coating broken off. That caused a really bad problem with that handle not working and with the locks in the car also. One other thing too with you coupe guys, with you CI guys, there is a box behind the glove box that controls the power locks, and if the sunroof's leaking at all, it likes to run in that box and run that. That's a really common problem with the coupes. I guess the convertibles could have it. I don't know what the situation with this or with those exactly. I know the coupes, almost everyone has it. I get in. That makes the locks unresponsive on all the doors except for the driver door. Then you end up having to, if the passenger door won't open, you end up having to take the glove box out with the passenger door closed, and that's a freaking nightmare. One thing to watch out on those cars. So that's all for today's video, guys. Thought I'd give you some of you potential buyers a heads up on these cars. If you have no mechanic knowledge at all, don't buy this car. Don't buy any E46, don't buy any BMW. Buy something new with a warranty and sell it for the warranty runs out. That's my advice as a mechanic. These cars are not for people that don't work on themselves. So that's all for today's video, guys. If you like this video, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I put out new videos every day. Most importantly, guys, don't forget to look me up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Nathan's DIY Garage. Thank you.